from UP. Now moving on and shifting our focus to what is happening as far as the war in West Asia is concerned. Tensions in Gulf of Oman are rising after US forces disabled a commercial vessel that was heading towards Iranian port in violation of the American blockade measures. According to the US Central Command, this ship ignored more than 20 warnings before a US aircraft then fired a missile at the engine room, bringing the vessel to a complete halt. The US has said that it has now disabled 5 commercial ships and redirected more than 100 others as it steps up the naval blockade in the Strait of Hormuz when it comes to blocking the Iranian ports there. The latest action is likely to add to the tensions in the region despite the ongoing ceasefire between the two countries. Let me get you more perspective and go across to my colleague Mayank, who's been tracking all the details. Mayank, in the latest, we're learning that there are rising tensions in the Gulf of Oman after US force disabled a commercial vessel that was, what we're learning so far, was heading towards the Iranian port there in violation of the naval blockade that has been put in force by the US there. Give us more details on this. All right, we'll try and fix that line with my colleague Mayank, but let's tell you more about the tensions in Gulf of Oman, the Strait of Hormuz, after what we're learning that the US forces disabled a commercial vessel that was heading towards the Iranian port in the violation of the naval blockade. Remember, that has been put in force by the United States when it comes to blocking the Iranian ports there. According to the US Central Command, the ship ignored more than 20 warnings before a US aircraft fired a missile at the engine room, bringing the vessel to a complete halt. Now, so far, we're learning that the US has disabled 5 commercial ships and redirected more than 100 others as it has stepped up the naval blockade. Let me once again go back to my colleague Mayank on this. Mayank, tell us more about the naval blockade that has been put in force by the United States. In the latest, we're learning that another commercial vessel that was heading towards the Iranian port in violation of the naval blockade that has been hit.
Akanksha, it is more important to make our viewers understand that the movement of any kind of vessel, which can be civilian or which can be merchant vessels, is completely stopped in that side. And how it has stopped? Because of Iran and US both. It was on 13th of April that US had started the blockade by placing positioning its warships along the entry point of the Strait of Hormuz, Gulf of Oman, in fact, to be specific. And the conditions they have said is that any vessel which is moving towards the ports of Iran, and mind it, entire northern geographical area is the territorial borders of Iran along the Persian Gulf and Strait of Hormuz and Oman, this thing. So what you see is actually Iran is present geographically into that area. So largely the movement of Iran takes place from that side. US blockade has been always to say that none of the ships which are moving towards or coming out of Iranian ports will be allowed to move. But then Iran in that case made a condition that any movement in that area will have to take permission from IRGC, and they'll have to move only through a marked area and a corridor which had been created by them. So what you see is happening is actually tit for tat. If any movement takes place inside the Strait of Hormuz, it is Iran which stops the movement by firing warning shots. And what you hear is actually this ship again was moving towards the port of Iran. That's how the warning was given initially. And then engine room was blasted so that its engine comes to a stop and it is halted. And it has been happening since 13th of April, mind it. Because 11th of April was the talk which happened indirectly between Iran and US in Pakistan. But we haven't found any kind of a solution. And there had been yesterday talk about almost 60 days ceasefire, which was expected to be extended for almost 60 days.
All right, so the naval blockade continues at a time when the back-channel talks are underway. Thanks so much, Mayank, for getting us all those details. And with this, we're taking a very short break. More news and updates on the other side. And now you can also watch Times Now on Times Play, available on all the app stores as well. Thank you for watching.